It's 3 a.m. in the morning in Bangalore, India, and I'm awake. I'm jet lagged. I've been jet lagged ever since I arrived here over 10 days ago from San Francisco. Now, initially, I was trying to fight it. I was getting about 2 hours of sleep. I would go to bed at about 11 and wake up at about 1. Now it's about 5 hours of sleep. In the US, I get about 8 hours of sleep when I'm not jet lagged. So for me, sleep is really important. I also take a nap in the afternoon. But as I mentioned earlier, I was trying to fight it. And after a few days, I realized that I am just going to lean into it. Instead of tossing and turning in bed and feeling anxious and worrying about how am I going to manage the day with just a few hours of sleep, I would turn it into something positive. And then I started thinking about the parallels between jet lag and moving to a new country, or starting a business, or finding a new job, or starting a new job, or like in my case, running a business. There's a lot of discomfort, there's disorientation. It doesn't always go as planned. You can't control it. And so I decided to use these waking hours. Instead of calling it sleeplessness, I would be productive. That's why I'm dressed up. I'm doing this video. I did another video, which I will share a link to in the description, which I did over the last week of being jet lagged. I shot the video every day. I edited it. It wasn't my best video, but I still decided to put it out there because for me, it's also using these waking hours to learn how to shoot and record video. I'm using my new iPhone 16 Pro. I'm using a tripod. Today I'm not using a recording device, but I normally use a recording device. So just also using the waking hours, not just to create videos or create content, but also learn how to use some of the tools. And then I don't feel so bad about not getting enough sleep, because for me, productivity is important. Now, I don't always sleep for a few hours because I'm so ambitious and I just have to get things done. I love my sleep, but in this case, this is what I'm doing with the jet lag waking hours. And these videos might not be perfect because, as I said before, I'm sleep deprived. My voice is kind of cracky. Maybe the lighting is not the best because it's dark and I have all the lights on. It's not natural light. But I'm leaning into my jet lag by creating content, hoping that even one person will benefit from what I have to share, despite the messiness, the imperfections, etc. Anyway, today's video is not about how to overcome jet lag. It's about the lessons I have learned or the parallels I have drawn between jet lag and, as I mentioned before, moving to a new country, starting or running a business, looking for a job or starting a new job, or even parenting, something that's different that you haven't done before and then you have to start from scratch. So let me introduce myself before I go any further. If this is the first time you're watching my YouTube videos, my name is Naina Kaputi and I'm the founder and CEO of the Expat Woman. And I help women make bold moves abroad by helping them find community, collaborations, and creating content with confidence so they can get seen, get known, and get the opportunities they want. So, as I said before, I was tossing and turning in bed, and then it hit me, the aha moment hit me, like, why don't you create videos? You want to grow your YouTube channel, so why don't you create videos? And the jet lag has brought a lot of disorientation. I mean, even traveling to a new country, India is my home country. My mom lives here, but I still feel disoriented for the first 2 days, partly because of the jet lag, different time zones. It's almost like repatriation when you go back, It's a little surreal because you're in the US or another country, then you're here. It's a country you've grown up with, so things are different. Because you've evolved, the country has changed. It's just, I can't explain it. I think people who travel back and forth maybe once a year will understand, and I'll share again the link to the description of the other video I did talking about, traveling home as an expat and some of the challenges we face and lessons learned. So the first lesson that jet lag has taught me is you can't force it. You can't control it. I can't force my 8 hours of sleep. Now I've tried melatonin, I've tried calming teas, I've tried meditation, blackout curtains, not taking a nap in the afternoon, being really active during the day, trying to go to bed at 11 or midnight, but I still wake up either after 2 hours in the first few days and then 4 to 5 hours towards, I'd say, after 10 days. Just like with moving abroad, starting a business, running a business, a career, etc., you might have all these big plans. Say with the business, you say that maybe in 3 months I'll get my first client, or with moving to a new country, I'm going to assimilate within 3 months, whatever, a month, I don't know. And it doesn't happen. You can do everything in your power, and sometimes the discomfort, the challenges, the feeling like nothing's working out are still there. So you just have to lean in it. You just have to lean into it, not force it, go with the flow. Eventually things will work out. If they don't work out, you can take a pause and figure out, what can I do next? Like in my case, I thought I'd be done with jet lag by today. In fact, I'm leaving for Vietnam tonight and spending a few days there. They're an hour and a half ahead of Bangalore. I'm hoping that my jet lag will disappear in Vietnam, but if not, I'll continue to do these videos, create content, work on the expat woman stuff, etc. The second lesson learned is that stillness sparks creativity. It's really quiet and still right now. My family's asleep. There's not much, there's no traffic outside. Bangalore is very busy, it's noisy. I'm next to a church, so you hear the church bells ringing. You might hear them during this video. They have a lot of masses, so almost every half an hour there's a new mass, either in English or Kannada or Tamil. And then there's dogs outside that bark a lot. There's a lot of sounds of honking, etc. But right now it's still, it's calm, it's actually beautiful, because I rarely wake up so early. I usually, back in the US, wake up when my family wakes up. So just like with your jet lag and embracing the quiet, the stillness, taking a pause, you need to do the same when you move abroad with your business, with your career. Sometimes you need to take a pause, you need to reflect, you need time to think, and during that stillness, during that quiet time, it could be a walk in the park, it could be meditation, you might get clarity, you might get creative. Because when I was tossing and turning in bed and then I embraced the stillness, that's when I got these ideas for these videos. I got the motivation or enthusiasm to do these videos, dress up, put on my makeup, brush my hair, etc. and learn how to shoot videos on my iPhone 16 Pro. So I think sometimes you can be creative when you're still, when you're quiet, instead of always being on that hamster wheel and getting anxious and trying to fix things. Take a step back, pause, reflect. The third lesson is that jet lag is temporary, challenges are temporary. So what I'm going through right now, it's temporary. It doesn't mean that for the rest of my life, I hope not, I will only be sleeping for 5 hours or 3 hours or whatever. Once my body gets used to being back in the US in that time zone, It will eventually adjust and I'll get my lovely 8 hours of sleep. So it's the same with moving abroad, starting a business or career, that things initially might not work the way you want them to. The challenges, especially when you move to a new country, you don't have friends, you're just figuring out living in that country, what works, what doesn't. You might be very homesick, you might have culture shock, but eventually things will work out. It's temporary. Of course, you have to make an effort. You can't just sit there and expect everything to work out. You have to work towards it. But as I said earlier, you can't control it, you can't force it. So just tell yourself that it's temporary. The fourth lesson is discomfort is not failure. So just because I can't fall asleep doesn't mean that, oh, I'm this useless traveler. I shouldn't travel because my jet lag is always so severe. I do have severe jet lag. I know I'll have it even when I move back or when I travel back to the US. I have it wherever I travel. I've traveled a lot at this point. So Europe, Asia, North America, etc. Even when I travel from San Francisco to the East Coast, I have jet lag. So it's something I've learned to accept, and I don't see the discomfort anymore as a challenge, but turn it into something productive. And so the same thing with your business or moving abroad. If you just feel that nothing is working out, you feel like you're a failure, the imposter syndrome steps in and tells you that you don't deserve to achieve success, you don't deserve to be happy, you don't deserve to overcome those challenges. Again, lean into it. Tell yourself discomfort is part of the journey. It's part of the expat journey. It's part of the entrepreneur journey. It's part of a career woman's journey. And from these challenges, from these hurdles, you actually learn. If everything just works out, you won't really learn. So just keep that in mind, that discomfort is not a failure. In fact, I want to share my favorite quote by Nelson Mandela. He says, "I never lose. I either win or I learn." And I'm learning about how to deal with jet lag. In fact, now I embrace it. I'm like, wow, I have all these extra hours, especially because in Bangalore, I've come here to visit my mom, to spend time with her. I'm staying at this beautiful Airbnb. My mom lives about a mile from here, or maybe half a mile. I know everything in India is in kilometers, so I'm like a little confused right now how long it is. It takes me about 20 minutes to walk to her. And so I spend a lot of time with her. I also have relatives and friends, and I have my kids with me, so I'm also making sure they get to do some fun stuff. So my day is not my own. So these hours give me time to work on my business and again, do these videos. So yes, don't see it as a failure, see it as a stepping stone. And finally, jet lag teaches you how to be adaptable. It's your superpower. So I've learned to adapt to fewer hours of sleep every night and still function by drinking coffee. These videos energize me, and also a lot of positive affirmations and self-talk. It's okay that I'm not getting enough sleep. It's not going to kill me. Maybe I'll have dark circles under my eyes, bags under my eyes, that's fine. I've still been able to function and do a ton of stuff. It hasn't stopped me from spending quality time with my mom, taking my kids to the movies, to do some sightseeing, playing tourist. I even went to an entrepreneur event yesterday. So I've done a lot of stuff despite surviving on just a few hours of sleep. And it's the same with your business, or moving to a new country, or starting a new career. Things don't go as planned, but it makes you more adaptable. And when you deal with challenges, when things are out of your control and you have to be flexible and you have to go with the flow, that gives you the superpower of being so open to change, of not always being in charge, and that helps you in the long run. So those are my lessons that I've learned from jet lag and the parallels I've drawn with being an entrepreneur, being an expat, etc. Do you have something to add? let me know in the comments of this video, or if any of these things resonate with you that I shared. So I'm glad this time that I finally got clarity on how to deal with jet lag, how to make the most of it, and also how it is so similar to being an expat, especially a new expat, to being an entrepreneur, or in many folks' cases, starting a job, looking for a job, and even being a parent, because a lot of discomfort and challenges, especially when you bring your kids with you along on a trip abroad, and it's mainly focused on being with family, it's harder than being just by yourself. Yes, parenting is a whole different topic, but I know a lot of my expat women are parents, and the sleepless nights are similar to when you have jet lag, and how can you be productive, etc. So if you like this video, please hit the like button. Do subscribe to this Expat Woman YouTube channel if you want to see more videos like this. Share it with someone who you think might be interested or benefit from what I had to say in this video. And I will see you soon. Bye. Thank you for watching.